Hey, what's up, everybody? You're back live with me, Cherie. Hey, on this beautiful Wednesday. It is chilly outside. Why is it so cold every Wednesday I get on the air? I'm gonna have to put some heat in the world out there. We're gonna have to talk about some stuff to heat it up. I have everybody in the studio on the air with me today. LaTanya,
hey girl,
course,
hey,
and the lovely Juan. I don't know where his mic is, but hey, Juan. Listen, I need everybody who. Oh, and I'm so sorry, Blaine, the lovely birthday coming up. Yes. Hello. We are live here at the lovely Worship Center Studios. Okay, everyone who is listening. Okay, I don't have any giveaways today. I'm so sorry, but if you want to shout your college out, your university, I don't care what it is, call 248-796-8241. I want you to call me, shout your college out, shout where year you graduated, whatever year you came in, because we already know you gonna pass all those classes this semester. In Jesus' name, as LaTanya would say. So the topic today is self-esteem, right? Self-esteem, motivating yourself, esteeming yourself, just a lot of esteem, loving yourself, just, what is self-esteem? Why does everyone always say, oh, you got to have self-esteem, or you got low self-esteem, you got high self-esteem? So self-esteem itself reflects a person's overall subjective emotional evaluation of his or her own worth. So it is a judgment on yourself. Your self-esteem can be very high, which means that you absolutely love yourself. You love everything about you. You love your flaws. You love the stinky breath in the morning. You love everything about yourself. Okay, self-esteem. I love myself. My self-esteem is very high. Thank you very much. Low self-esteem could be that, you love yourself and you can tell everybody you love yourself, but emotionally you really don't, the way you dress could say how you love yourself or if you like yourself at all. The way you act can tell if you love yourself or if you don't love yourself. Just knowing you and how you live day to day could show if you love yourself or not. LaTanya, what do you say self-esteem is? Because you seem to have a lot of it. a lot.
Don't do me.
No, but honestly, what do you say self-esteem is?
Genuinely loving yourself, like you said.
Exactly.
Genuinely
loving you when ain't nobody else gonna. Well, God loves you. Exactly. Right. So here I'm on. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm on the internet, of course. Shout out to whoever created the internet. But so some examples of high self-esteem means you firmly believe in certain values and principles and are ready to defend them even with finding opposition. Feeling secure enough to modify them in light of experience. Not losing time worrying excessively about what happened in your past, or could possibly what happens in your future. I'm sorry. Admitting and accepting different internal feelings and drives, either positive or negative, revealing those drives to others only when they choose. So that's just an example of high self-esteem. Here it says low self-esteem may show some of the following characteristics: heavy self-criticism and dissatisfaction. Now, with that being said, a person who has low self-esteem, you do constantly criticize yourself. You're never good enough for you. So it's like writing a term paper, right? And you feel like you feel like you did good. But then your teacher reads it and then she gives it back and you have an F on it. And you're like, well, I know I did good. But because your teacher gives you an F and you're not thinking about the fact that she's a teacher, she has a degree, she feels like it's a certain way. She feels like it was wrong. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you you did it wrong, or it wouldn't be seen as being wrong.
I'm just trying to figure out something.
What you trying to figure out, Juan?
I'm trying to figure out why the criteria for high self-esteem has so many different things that can give you high self-esteem,
Right.
and low self-esteem only has two.
No, I have more, but I
oh,
had to stop at that one
okay.
because
I just want to hear more criteria of
okay,
low self-esteem. 'Cause,
yes, sir.
So sometimes criticizing yourself ain't bad.
That's
but,
true. You can
but
always better yourself.
you can always better yourself.
Okay,
I
so
know there's more criteria than low self-esteem.
yes, sir, it is.
Like constantly crying and being a pest and all kinds of other stuff.
Actually, no. Well, probably. Okay, so Juan wants to know more. Let's see. Excessive will to please and unwillingness to displease any petitioner. Being perfect can lead to trying to be perfect can lead to frustration when perfection is not achieved. Neurotic guilt on exaggerating the magnitude of past mistakes, floating hostility and general defensiveness, and irritability without any proximate cause. Wow, these are a lot of huge words. envy or general resentment sees temporary setbacks as a permanent, intolerable condition. Wow.
All that just went over my head.
I think, yeah. So in other terms, but you know what? Everybody's definition of low or high self-esteem is completely different. Whereas like my opinion would be high self-esteem, somebody who literally like just is like super nonchalant about anything you say about them. Like, girl, your breath stink. Okay, so what's your point? Like that to me would be like, girl, you got some real, right. You know, that to me is being like, girl, you got some high self-esteem to think your breath don't stink. And I'm sitting here the one smelling your breath, you know? Or in low self-esteem, because my personal low self-esteem issue or is that I never feel like I'm good enough for anybody. I never feel like I'm worth the next person, when honestly my worth is way much more. You know what I mean? I'm worth I'm worth much more than I put myself to be. And I think that when you have low self-esteem and you don't think that you're worth anybody, you don't think that you're good enough, you don't think that you're good enough for anybody, that everything you do is wrong, and you know nobody likes a super smart person or this, that, and the other. And so I feel like you hold yourself back. You hold yourself back from taking that leap. You hold yourself back from taking the steps that you probably should have taken. But that's just my personal thing of low self-esteem, because somebody with low self-esteem can fake it till they make it. You know, they could be walking around here with feeling super down and really hate themselves, and could be walking around here like, yeah, I think the most high of myself. And I did that. I did that for a long time, especially when I was younger. I had really low self-esteem. I mean, you could just tell by the way I dressed. Like my first year in at Kentucky State, I would come home with basketball shorts, and I mean, literally, I just did not care about me. I didn't care about Cherie at all. So the way throw my hair up in ponytail, like I literally looked like I didn't care today. Like if somebody asked me, did you wash up tonight? I probably tell them no. I would probably tell them yeah, knowing I probably didn't, because I just honestly didn't care about myself. And that to some people is low self-esteem. And even though I didn't feel like I was good enough for anybody, I didn't feel like I was good enough for myself. I really hated me. I hated the person that I was. I hated me because I felt like everyone else who told me who I was wrong. And so I had low self-esteem. I didn't like me. The way I dressed said I didn't like me. The way I acted had a real nasty attitude about life. I was just like, whatever, I don't care. Because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like nothing. And so and then of course too, it's like trying to change, it's like somebody saying, oh, once a liar, always a liar, or once a cheater, always a cheater. It's like you can't never change, because people are going to always see that same immature, lying, child that you were. And it's like, hey, I grew up, I've literally changed. And so I think that can also cause low self-esteem when you especially when you're in the transition of trying to change and try to be this better person.
I think low self-esteem comes from a transitioning from one point to another point in your life.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, when you were young, you did things that young people do,
Exactly.
and transitioning into your life as an adult, people tend to try to make you stay a kid or try to make all the things that you did in your past stay with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
High self-esteem would be something that you've done to change all of that.
Right.
So, I mean, you don't have to sit there and say, oh, I love myself so much.
Right.
That's my esteem. No, that's not your esteem. You just love yourself. That's called conceit. There's a difference. High self-esteem and conceit is two different things. You know, the way you set up esteem, because it's a setup.
Exactly.
So you follow 3 criterias for each of them. You don't listen to nobody when they tell you who you are, because the only person you're really supposed to listen to is God that tells you who you are.
Yeah.
2, I don't care if the people are telling you that you're so beautiful, or you're good at this, or you're good at that, you're good at this. You know, they giving you all kinds of accolades. Don't listen to them, period, because those people are the shiesty ones, period,
But
to tell you the truth.
now, with all that being said, hearing it can have a play. Like, I know self-esteem is you. You know, it's how you feel about you. However, it's like growing up when they be like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. And that's a lie. Words do hurt. If somebody's constantly telling you that you're not good enough, or constantly, I'll say this, not saying it verbally, but maybe, what's the word? When they're saying it, they're beating around the bush and they want to say you're not worthy, you're not good enough. It's kind of like, to hear that or to see that come out, it's kind of like you start believing it. And so in your own mind, in your own sense, it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever, I ain't worthy.
Well,
whatever.
that brings me to my second point. My second point is self-evaluation.
That's true. Yeah.
If you have those type of people always constantly telling you, this and this and this, your evaluation is, why are they even still around me?
Right.
Why? If you're a friend and you constantly being criticized by your friend, why are they still your friend? Mm-hmm. If your husband is constantly criticizing you, I was going to say something else, but I don't want people to think that I, advocate domestic violence.
Right, Juan. We're not promoting domestic violence.
No, but I'm saying, if your husband is constantly downing you,
Exactly.
then you have to figure out a way. I mean, because you married him, so now you stuck with him.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not you married him, and you feel like, I can divorce him and get a new husband and all this other stuff, that's not even biblical. Mm-hmm. If you married someone and you knew that they were like that before you married them, you put yourself in that position. So now what do you do? Now self-evaluate what's going on. Mm-hmm. What do you do to change that situation?
Now, do you think that within self-evaluation, is it okay to take criticism from other people, to maybe think like, well, they said something on the radio on the D.L. Hughley show yesterday. He was asked, I'm sorry, I lie. The Lonnie Hunter show. Mm-hmm. He asked the question, he said, do you fall into if more than one person says it, then it must be true? It's like me, you, and LaTanya sitting here, and me and you both are like, LaTanya, for real, it's time to get your hair done. She's like, no, it's not time to get my hair done. No offense, because I really love your hair. But it's like us constantly sitting here talking about her hair. And it's like, well, and then Blaine comes in here like, well, LaTanya, you need to get your hair done. One or more people said I need to get my hair done, so maybe that's necessarily true.
Let me tell you what I would say.
Okay.
When one of you 3 contribute to getting my hair done, that's when I'll get it done. Until then, mind yours, okay?
There it is.
There it is. When necessarily I was making a point about one or more people saying it.
And that's what I go back to point number 1.
Yeah.
Don't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
What happens is, when people say something negative to you or are criticizing you, it either rings true to you or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to listen to them all the time because of the simple fact that they brought something that rang true to you one time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, they kept it 100 with me this one time, so I'm going to listen to them all the time. No, necessarily, because they're not always right.
Exactly.
So they might be telling you something that they're trying to, people like to live vicariously through other people.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why we follow stars and want to live the life they live, because of the simple fact that we don't have that life. When you can possibly necessarily have their life just better if you just do it. A lot of people are just like, I don't have the money. Well, a lot of times you don't take the chance to have the money.
Yeah. That's true.
And it goes back to number 2, self-evaluation.
Now, according to this article that I'm reading, it's called Raising Low Self-Esteem. I'm sitting here and I'm just kind of like going over it. And it says, living with low self-esteem can harm your mental health, which that's necessarily true, and I believe that, leading to problems such as depression and anxiety. You may also develop unhelpful habits such as smoking and drinking too much as a way of coping. Now, the smoking and drinking part is like...
Can I say something? Let me bring in my third point, because I know
Bring your third point.
I know everybody was waiting for it. He said 3 points, so he only did give me 2. Let me bring in my third point. Self-esteem is self-esteem of your own self.
Yes.
Not of nobody else.
Cat Williams said it best.
Right.
Cat Williams said it best.
It's a self-esteem of your own self.
Yes.
I mean, if you're depressed, the only person that can bring you out of depression...
That's true. Is
you.
you. That's right.
So you walking around depressed and mad and at the world, or sad at the world, or whatever you're going through at the world, is because of you.
And you know what? I have to say this, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for it, and I don't even care. I have to say this. Get over it. You know what I mean? Whatever happened before you turned 24, 23, 18, that's not helping you right now.
If you mad after 5 minutes of being mad,
okay,
it's your fault.
It's your fault.
Because you give people that kind of power over your life.
Exactly. Hey, you got a problem, Tanya? No, and I don't mean like, I mean as far as, because when we said some of the reasons you can have low self-esteem is because of past situations. Now, everyone has been through something that has irritated them, has made them mad. I mean, my mom left me. My biological mother left me. Literally, like, I don't want this girl. Told the judge, I don't want her. Do what y'all want to do with her. I don't want her. I could be mad about that. I could take that and use that as, I'm going to just stay down my whole life because she left me and she told the judge she didn't want me. But in reality, she was doing me a favor.
Or be an angry cretin the rest of your life.
Exactly. And try to charge everyone else, or make it everyone else's problem. And to honestly, I have to apologize to my mother over the air, because I was very rude and disrespectful to her as a child growing up. And it wasn't intentionally. It was, you ain't my mama, so, you only be here for me because my mama coming back. When in reality, she never was coming back. And so the older I got, the older I got, the harder it got. And the more reality started to kick in.
The more angry you
Exactly.
got.
And so it was kind of like I was taking it out on her because my biological mother decided she didn't want me no more. And so I apologize sincerely, because you did me a favor. You raised me the right way. You kept God in my face. You made sure that I was in those books, and because of that, I'm the person I am today. But
right.
On the flip side, what if I had did that? What if I had stayed angry at her for the rest of my life? I wouldn't be married. Not only that, I have a child. And so how would my child turn out because I'm so angry at what happened? I'm 24, at 22 years ago.
They would at the birth of your child, they'd have been singing that song.
They probably would have.
Damien.
They would have. Okay, so going back here, it says can harm your mental health, leading to problems such as depression and anxiety. So depression, you're sad. You don't want to do nothing. Woe is me. I'm so tired of woe is me. And I've been there. I ain't gonna lie. I've been there. I constantly go through it like, oh my gosh, God, for real. Like, I ain't got no money to go pick lasagna up from Novi. And I'm sad. Or God, I really want to buy this new phone because my phone is cracked terribly. But I ain't got no money.
And that depresses you?
No, just I mean, like as far as small things that could depress you. You know what I
Small
mean?
things built on something
Built
big.
on something big.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I
No,
was like,
no.
You can't afford a phone, and you depressed about it?
No, I'm not
What kind
saying
of phone
that.
is that?
Well, right. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying how it can lead up. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And then you
Yeah.
can sit there. It's kind of like having a huge problem. And everything after that problem is irritating you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I can't do this now, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. So woe is me. I'm sad now. I'm depressed.
Let me give you youngsters
Oh,
a few
God.
pointers real quick.
God. If you hear me now, Lord, please. No, go ahead.
If you stay mad longer than you need to, that you can't function the rest of the day, that is your fault.
Yeah.
Period. It's nobody else's fault. I mean, whatever somebody does to you, once it's done, it's done.
Exactly.
If you stay mad longer than you have to, and you can't function the whole day, the rest of the day, because you're mad at somebody, it is your fault.
That's
because
true.
you control your day. Nobody else controls your day. Not unless you're in prison or in jail or a slave. Pick one. Which one are you going to be?
Yeah.
You're going to be a prisoner? You're going to be a slave? Or you're going to control your own day?
That's
Because
true.
you give young people give too much control to other people
Yeah.
over their own lives. And that's why they end up in the position that they end up in, as being depressed.
Yeah.
Because they're not living like their friends, and so they're mad about it. Their parents are not paying for all of their tuition in college, or paying for them to live in a dorm like their other friends are paying for them. When you don't know the situations of everybody.
Exactly.
And everybody could be in the same situation as you are. It's just one parents decide to struggle. The parents at home are probably living in a hut eating ramen noodles so that child can go and live like he wants to live in college. But you don't know that situation. You just see that situation and you want to be upset because you're not living that way.
Exactly.
Your life is your life, not anybody else's. And if you give people too much room to run your life, that's what's going to depress you.
And not only that, everybody craves to be an adult. You know what I mean? It's like when you grow up, I can't wait till I get 18. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
And
But
then when you got
honestly,
18, what
and
happened?
what do you hear seasoned people say? They're like, "Oh no, girl, you just stay young, because they know what it's like to grow up and say, "I wish I was grown," and then want to go back, and you can't.
I wish I was 18 and out the house and grown
And grown and-
driving
ooh.
and telling people what to do until
Exactly.
bills started coming.
Exactly.
When them bill-
Or situations started happening, and
when
you
them-
had to think, dude, can I afford?
Look, bills are situations.
They not situations to me. They more like they got their own category.
Bills are situations.
They own
'Cause
categories.
When that bill hit your face, that's a situation.
That's
You
a
be like,
situation.
"Ah,
I was
right
on
now.
my way to Applebee's.
Ah,
That Discover card, yes.
And I needed some gas.
Okay. But all of this can be a part of your self-esteem. It can be a part of how you choose to live, how you choose God. I'm not really good with scriptures, but I do know that you're not supposed to judge yourself based on somebody else. So I know that being envious of someone or trying to live how somebody else lives, like pretty much comparing your life to somebody else's. So like you were saying, oh, well, I'm mad because my parents can't afford to put me up in a private room, on campus, and her parents can, I wish my life was like hers, when honestly, you don't know what her life is like. You don't know what the next person's like. Just because me and LaTanya come to work 2 days out the week, I don't know what LaTanya go home and go through. And I'm friends with her. I talk to her almost every other day.
LaTanya goes home and beat up everybody. Everybody's scared of LaTanya.
Everybody's
Her
scared.
hair.
Listen, if
At
you're
her house.
scared of LaTanya, call in right now and we can get you together, okay? You can confront her because you know what I've noticed. People are so big.
You can't confront me.
No, you can't confront her, but you can say what you got to say, okay? And she gonna say what she got to say. But people are so big over the internet and over the phone.
She is all talk. I'm telling y'all, she's just a sweetie. Y'all scared? If y'all scared of her, it's something wrong with y'all life.
She is.
She's like Velma on Scooby Doo.
Yes,
the smart one.
But she's
so
still
nice.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. But people, like I said, people are so big over the internet, and they're so big. And I honestly hate Facebook because you can live one way on Facebook and honestly be living another way in reality. Literally,
be thugs on Facebook.
Man,
hard.
They got this a whole bunch of mouth.
We know Tanya's not that because
Tanya's a thug all the way around.
Like I said, she's
a gangster.
She's Velma on Scooby Doo because, and I say that because Velma was the smart one, and every time they would ask the question, well, what does that mean? She has this look on her face, like, but then she explains it anyway.
Like, oh my God.
Tanya's sweet. Tanya's sweet. Don't let her fool y'all. But you know what? I think that
she'd give you the shirt off her back.
She would.
She would. That's why she's sitting in here laughing.
She would sit there and give you the shirt off her back, and then ask you.
She'd give you the dress out her head.
She would. She'd be like, oh, "Baby, I got some weave for you if you need it. Let me go and take these braids.
I got some braids. If you need some braids,
let me get this out.
You look like your hair needs some medical attention.
Not medical attention.
Yes, medical attention.
Sunflower seed ponytails. I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. I'm just saying. Anyway, so here are some ways to have healthy self-esteem. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with everything they said, but the first sentence is exactly repeating what Juan said. In order to boost self-esteem, you need to, 1, identify, and 2, challenge the negative beliefs you have about yourself. If you just honestly can't think of anything positive about yourself, like if you can't say one nice thing about yourself, you need to do a self-check.
Not only do a self-check, check the people around you.
Exactly.
Because if you can't think of anything positive about you, at least one person should be able to
say something
about you. And if they can't say nothing about you, pray.
Hey.
Lord
but
Jesus.
And not only that, if you can't think of anything, positive to say about yourself, what does God say positive about you? You know, God says you were wonderfully created, you know, which means you're here to do great works. Although you haven't tapped into them yet, doesn't mean you're not great. Everybody, every day, if you can't think of anything positive about yourself, the one thought that should pop in your head is, wow, God took the time out to create me. And he made me different from even twins even though they look physically alike, they have 2 separate identities. If you put both of them in a room and they had to do finger testing, it would be different. They have, not only that, y'all have your own social security numbers. So, you know, if that alone doesn't make you feel wonderful about yourself, and like Juan said, you need to pray. I'm going to need you. And if the church is not saying anything positive that should make you know that you're wonderfully that you're wonderfully made, then I'm gonna need you to switch churches, boo-boo. Quickly.
And I'm gonna leave it at that.
And leave it at that, Juan. Leave it at that. Listen, Juan has a show called The Watchman's Voice where he literally is raw dog for real. Like okay, follow him on Instagram, Facebook.
I try to be nice, y'all. I try to be nice.
Follow him on Facebook at Juan Johnson. That's JUANJOHNSON. Please follow him.
Yeah, we go ham on churches.
Ham, raw, anything.
But no, let me say this before you continue. The only reason we do what we do, as far as, you know, and I say we because it's all of us. Mm-hmm. The only reason we do what we do and I do what I do on my page and on my show is because people in the church don't confront real issues.
Right.
We want the roses. We want the flower gardens. We want the laying in the grass and the sun on our face and and flowers and butterflies and everything. That's how we want our walk with Christ to be. And then all of a sudden, when it's not like that, we're trying to blame God and we're wondering what's wrong and all this other stuff. And why do people feel like this about, why do they hate us so much? Why do the gays hate us so much? Why do the Muslims hate us so much? It's because you're probably evil and you don't know it.
Yeah.
And you probably shunned some people and you didn't know it. So we bring real issues and we talk about those real issues. We talk about why the gays feel a certain way about Christianity.
Exactly.
Why Muslims feel like Christians are weak. Why the Jehovah's Witness feel like, we're lazy, people. And all we do is just stand in the go about our life and go to work back and forth and look in the air and waiting for Jesus to crack the sky coming for us. We confront those real issues.
Yeah.
And we talk about issues. We talk about sex in the church. We talk about all those things. I mean, not that people are having. Well, yes, they are. So anyway,
they are.
I'm
You're
just saying,
right. People do. Listen, I was in church my whole life. Okay.
I can't even tell you what
I was in church
what I
my
say
whole
about the church.
life.
And hey, I ain't gonna put it past you, and I ain't gonna put it past none of you. That I did some real strong wrong things in church while I was in there, and I did some real strong things in church probably in the last 5 years. But at the same time, it doesn't say that there's no room for redemption,
Exactly.
and that's what we want to do. So go ahead.
But and to piggyback, I guess another thing that churches don't talk about, well, at least the churches I've been in, we don't confront the suicide. Which that's where low self-esteem can take you.
Churches are the biggest killers.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way: people in the church abort more dreams and babies than anybody on earth.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's
I
deep.
believe it, but that's deep.
I didn't know that.
And if you want to know why, we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
On the Watchman's Voice.
On Friday on the Watchman's
On
Voice.
Friday, tune in Friday for the Watchman's Voice.
Hey, 6 p.m. on Friday.
Shout your show out, Juan.
Hey,
Shout
6 p.m. on Friday, the Watchman's Voice. It's on!
But low self-esteem can take you to suicide.
Yes.
And again, it all
That's
goes
because
back
there's
to
a void of positivity in their life.
exactly.
When nobody can say anything positive about you and you can't say anything, there's a void there.
Yeah.
And something has to fill that void, and they think that ending their life because nobody cares or can say anything positive about them is better than changing their life.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me see how to start this off. I've been depressed. I have low self-esteem. Well, I had low self-esteem. I'm learning. I've been through the whole depressed stage for years and years, and it definitely can lead to suicide. But I had those people around me who were positive and uplifting, and it didn't matter because of what was going on in my own head.
Okay.
And I did have a void, and I tried to kill myself. It didn't work, thank you, Jesus.
Right.
But I literally had knife in hand.
Right.
Okay. Knife to skin.
Wow.
I legit tried to kill myself, and it barely pierced through.
Okay.
That void that I was missing, that I didn't know I was missing, was God.
Yeah.
It was. And I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
My dad's a pastor.
Right.
25 years of going to church. And I thought I had God.
Yeah.
But I wasn't reading the word. I wasn't studying the word. I wasn't praying. I didn't have a relationship. I just knew about him.
And not to cut you off, but that's true. Because I grew up in the church. And my parents are not pastors or evangelists or any of that. But my experience was I grew up in the church, but I wasn't for God. And not only was I not for him, but I was only being made to go.
Right.
I wasn't going because Cherie wanted to go. Right. And at this point, you going because you got to look good.
Right.
And daddy got to say, your dad got to say, well, my kids are in church. My kids ain't out there doing that. But what they say, pastor kids are the worst.
I was bad. Thank God for change.
Yes.
But that void.
Yeah.
And I can say this because I'm speaking from experience.
Yes.
That void I was missing, that black hole, was where God was not in my life. He was there, but I wasn't acknowledging him. And when I began to acknowledge him and grow closer to him, God started to change my mindset. If it wasn't God, I wouldn't be here today. I would not be here today if it wasn't for God.
Yeah.
But God started changing my mindset when I decided I wanted him and I didn't want to live like this. And I got sick of crying every day and I got sick of trying to kill myself and all this, that, and the other. Listen, I'm going to cry, so we're not going to get that deep into it.
Wow.
But God, that's what it all boils down to. God,
Yeah.
whether you're a believer or not. God is real, honey.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe in him, but God is real. And when you get to that point in your life where you have nobody else to depend on, your parents can't pray for you no more, your friends can't love on you no more,
Yeah.
when you need
better
that
say
somebody,
that. Yes.
you're going to turn to God. Because the Bible does say every knee will bow and every tongue will confess.
That's true.
So whether you want to or not, you're going to need God. But you
That's
might want to
true.
get him before it's too late. I got
Exactly.
him, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
I got God before it was too late. Because my parents prayed for me for 25 years. And they might have got me out some situations, but when he collecting up offering, they might have prayed me out some
preaching in here.
situations. But when I got old enough
Yeah.
to pray for myself, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But God had his hand on my life.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful because, oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Listen, thank you, God, for change. Y'all need some Jesus. Y'all need to know. Y'all need to experience what I'm experiencing, because when you get him, you just get so full of love, and you just can't help but to be nice to people. And oh my,
And you have, you know what? It's so funny because,
my daddy don't even know.
but
this
you know
side of
what?
me.
Right.
My daddy don't know.
Wow. That's all I can say right now is wow.
Listen,
Because the thing about it is you never know. You will never know that what a person is going through. And what's interests me so much is when a person does, because we've all known people who've taken their lives, right? We all know people who we're like, wow, and just a couple years ago, which still saddens me to this day, me and my husband had a really good friend, and every time we seen him, he was so happy. He was cracking jokes. He was so full of life, and that man took his life. And it was like, what? But he was so happy,
Right.
And that goes back to last week. If you unhappy, say you unhappy. Let's get you happy.
Right.
Let's get you to know God. Let's get that peace in your life, because who wants to walk around miserable?
but see,
I don't get it.
It's not that easy though, because when I was going through all this, that, and the other, nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody but my God knew. My own parents thought I was happy because I had that smile on my face.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I
That's
was
true.
joking. I was kicking it. Come on, we can go this, there, and the other.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy to just be like, hey, I'm hurting, y'all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you feel like people expect you to laugh with them, and they expect you to be strong, and you go through stuff and they expect you to be the one to get them through it, when in reality you like, oh, like I'm completely shattered,
Yeah.
and y'all don't even know it.
I get that. Wow. That is whoa. That's like a whoa moment.
Or it could be a pride thing. It was also a pride thing for
It
me.
could
I
be.
didn't want people to know, because I gave off that persona that I was strong.
Yeah.
So I didn't want people to know that I was, and it's not about being weak, but at that time I thought it was. I didn't want people to know I was weak or helpless, or,
Yeah.
I wanted to try to handle it myself, and Lord, did I hit rock bottom.
Wow.
But
What's sad is that you got to hit rock bottom before you find God, which is crazy, because God's like right there. He's
is.
right there. He's right there. And like I just said, if you don't know that you were wonderfully created, then you need to find another church, because somebody at your church should be telling you, you are boy, anyone, whoever you are, girl,
People.
boy, man, woman, child, them, they,
Them, they.
he, she, it belongs.
You
Okay?
irritating.
All of y'all. You were wonderfully created. God literally took the time, which, wow, when you say it out loud, it's like, God, for real? Like you sat there, you drew me up. You said, I want your eyes to look like this. No matter what your mama and daddy did, because your mama, wow, both my parents are dark skinned.
and you
And
just as light.
and I'm just as light as can be. And we were just talking about this yesterday. I would go to school, and when my mom came up, she said that people used to think my dad was white because I was white.
Yeah, you real light skin.
And real light skin. And so when my dad comes, they go, both her parents are black. She's light. How could this be?
That's because you was made in God's image.
Because I would. Okay, God took the time. He created me.
She was adopted.
Juan, I was not adopted.
I was. Hey, shout out to all my adoptees. I was adopted.
She was and her loving parents.
Hey,
wow,
mama,
her
hey,
dad
daddy.
is so sweet. Her mom is sweet too, but her dad is
They
really the
alright.
sweetest.
My dad's the bomb. My mom's cool too. Yeah.
But all that to say, like literally, God sat there and He drew you up. And he said, I want your eyes to look like this. I want your hair to be like this. I want your personality to be like this. And it's like, God, you thought enough of me to make me me. Like, as people say, trendsetters and a follower. Nah, how about everybody in this world was created to be a leader?
Yes.
Everybody, like, you set your own trend. You set your own. The celebrities, yes, they give us a little help. I ain't gonna lie, because some stuff they come up with, you be like, ooh, dang, I wish I would have came up with that first. But why not? Why not set your own trend? Why not be that person in your group of friends who's the outspoken one, who's the person that says, you know what? No, I'm going with my mind because this is what I thought about. Now, if you want to go with your mind, go ahead. But at some point, somebody need to stand up and be a leader, because eventually y'all gonna get tired of following each other. Because if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
What is it?
I think it's a duck. It could be an elephant.
It might be a goose, you know.
I would hope it would be a duck. So all that to say, you were wonderfully made. And if there is no positivity around you, it's time to switch groups. It's time to switch churches. It's time to start cutting those ties with people. And soul ties are real, people.
Yeah, oh God. Yes.
Soul ties are real. And what's funny is it says here that low self-esteem can cause problems in friendships. It can cause problems in relationships. It can cause problems in your everyday walk. Which is, that's like, dang, my everyday walk.
Your whole demeanor can change. Your whole face
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Everything about you can change because of how you look at you. Because you haven't self-checked. You haven't said, okay, you know what? Today, when I think of what I want to do, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let nobody tell me no. I'm not going to, listen to somebody else's idea and go, wow, that's great. I wish I would have thought it. No, because what makes their idea greater than yours?
Let me say this. Read that end part again where you said they talked about the relationships and the whatever other things that make you that can be a part of your depression.
Okay. Let me go back because I went to something totally different. Let's see. The 3 stages. Okay. Low. Okay, here we go.
It said something about relationships and friendships.
Yeah.
And some other things like that. Think about it like this, y'all. If your relationship is making you depressed,
Get up out of it.
the only person that can change that is
You.
if your relationship or your friendships are making you depressed,
Get up out of it.
only person that can change that, the common denominator in all those things
Is you.
is you. You can change that.
And see here, individuals with low self-esteem tend to be critical of themselves and others. Some depend on the approval and praise of others while evaluating self-worth. Here's what I need y'all to do.
That's the part I want to
okay.
talk about real quick, because this goes out to men, young men.
Yeah.
Young men look for the approval of their parents.
Yes.
Mainly fathers.
Yeah.
If they don't get approval of their fathers,
Wow.
they feel like a lot of times they failed.
Yeah.
And a lot of times your father is not the one that gives you that accredits you to move on to the next level.
Right.
Because some of your fathers are not really fathers. Mm-hmm. Let's just make it real. Some of you mothers are not really mothers either. Mm-hmm. Let's just be real. So we have to learn that what we do to our children affects the way our children run the rest of their lives, because they're looking for approval from us.
Yeah.
So if you don't establish your children's self-esteem, because their self-esteem is in your hands until they turn 18.
Yes.
Okay? Or let me put it God's way. Their self-esteem is in your hands until they die. Until you pass away or they pass away, their self-esteem is in your hands. Now, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, it's mostly 18. And then the kids are out on their own. But their self-esteem is still in your hands, because I know grown people that still look for approval from their parents.
Yes.
Their self-esteem is in your hands. If they can't look to you for encouragement, for a push, for that next level, in encouragement. Let's just use that word, encouragement. They can't look for that next level from you. It's your fault too.
Yeah.
God holds you accountable for that.
And can I just say this? I don't know where this just came from, but speaking on young men, there is nothing wrong with being a young man and living for God. There is nothing wrong with it.
Boy,
because
I wish
you
I
know
was.
what?
When I was young, when I was at it, man, I'm here to tell you, if I had hindsight is 2020 is hindsight, because if I knew what I knew now, back then,
Yeah.
You would have been on fire.
Kaboom.
man,
Don't say that.
I'd have been the bomb.
Yeah. But
When I hit the street, when I stepped down, the devil would have been like, "Oh no, not this Negro,
yeah, say that.
not him." Because if I knew what I knew now, what I knew then,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had no kids early. I wouldn't have married early. I mean, there would have been a whole bunch of things I wouldn't have done.
And it's not only that. I think that most churches are so focused on the young men, and it's young men this and young men that, but nobody ever really tells them it's okay to pull your Bible out and talk to God. I know me personally, because it's so funny. Every female's like, well, I want a God-fearing man. Now, he got to love God, but he also got to know how to pray. He also got to know how to lead. He got to know how to step up. And when y'all do get married young and have kids, he has to know that I got to lean on God for everything because my wife's looking at me.
Yeah, but also the wives or the young ladies have to learn to relinquish this independent attitude.
That's true, too. That's true.
You can't be an independent woman in a marriage or in a relationship that you want to be in. You breathing
Whatever,
because
Juan.
you breathing because I'm touching the subject now. I'm touching the subject now. Let me keep going.
I thought we was talking about self-esteem.
We got a few minutes because I need to say this. Your self-esteem, ladies, is not based on your independence and the way you could take care of yourself.
That's true.
It's not dependent on a man. Just because a man comes by and can take care of you should not be whether or not your esteem is high or low.
That's true.
Whether or not you're in the right place with God determines how your self-esteem is going to be for you, next to how your parents esteemed you.
Yeah.
If you had low self-esteem because your parents weren't the greatest parents in the world and they didn't esteem you that way, then once you reevaluate all of that, and you know that I can only look to God and maybe a few people, then run with those few people.
Yeah.
Run with them.
I'd rather have one good friend than 1,000 of
God
them.
said in was it Genesis? God said in Genesis where he would save a whole city of Sodomites if one person.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he said, I would save the city if one righteous person was in that city. The angels couldn't find nobody. Not even Lot. And he was Abraham's nephew. And he was supposed to be righteous. Abraham had to go get his nephew out of there because God was going to destroy the city. Because there was no righteous person in it. If you can't find one righteous person, do what God did. Just break it all down, start all over, and then put a bunch. Hey,
Soul ties, break them.
Break them ties, and then just start all over. Start fresh. I'm sure after this, the city was never able to be built again. But I'm sure they built other cities based on the morality of Sodom and Gomorrah. But they're still around today. You know why? Because there was some righteous person in there praying and said, Lord, please don't burn me up with the rest of these fools. I'm just saying.
I'm good, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm good, Jesus. Yeah, I know you see me. Let me look. If you burn down the city, save my house.
Please.
Please.
Okay, so according to 6 Ways to Improve Your Self-Esteem, because time is running out, but I have to say this. A couple of things you can do is take a self-esteem inventory, right? Know what's good for you. Tell yourself you're good. If you have to tell yourself you're better than everyone else, then tell yourself that. Because at this point, I'm going to need you to think very highly of yourself. Know some of your strengths. And for everybody has weaknesses. We all know we can't do everything. You know, Serena Williams, girl, you go ahead, girl.
Yeah.
But you have to know your worth. You have to know that you're worth more, and you have to know that God made you worth more. You have to. It all comes back to God, which is amazing. It all comes back to Him.
It always does.
Always comes back
He's
to Him.
the center of everything.
So take self-esteem inventory. Know you, love you. If you don't know how to love you, man, ask God how to love you. Read the Bible. Number 2, set realistic expectations. Don't overdo it. If you listen, I'm a millionaire, but if you look at my bank account right now, I have $3.52. But I'm a millionaire. And I believe I'm a millionaire, and I know I'm a millionaire. In fact, I'm a multi-millionaire. I can write a check that got several commas. Okay, now can you cash it right now? Absolutely not. And I don't. Please don't cash it.
Absolutely
not. But set realistic expectations. I know today that I can be great at something. I know today I can bless somebody. I know today that Cherie is good at making people smile, and so I can make somebody smile today. Set realistic expectations. And actually, if you think about it, loving on somebody else can make you feel good about it. Doing right towards somebody else can make you feel good. Praying for somebody else, honestly, genuinely praying for somebody else can make you feel good. Explore yourself, and be willing to adjust your own self-image and stop comparing yourself to others, because nobody's greater than you. You have to tell yourself, I am greater than myself.
And let me just add this real quick for the people who are going through like suicide, self-esteem, whatever. Find me or Cherie or anybody on Worship Center Studios. Inbox us. Let us know. We'll pray for you. We love everybody genuinely. Yes. We'll pray for you. We'll find something good in you. We'll work with you because we've been there. We've done that. We know, honey.
Yeah.
Inbox
me on Facebook.
You might not want to inbox
Cherie L. Cornelius. Okay. Follow me on Instagram. I_am_SHERRIE. Call me. Please don't call me. Send me a message.
Y'all can
hit me up. Slide in my DM. Okay,
but let us
slide
know
in my inbox.
It's real. We know
it is. Real. And listen, if you're not good enough for yourself, how you gonna be good for everybody else?
Exactly.
Honestly, think about it.
Hit us up, y'all.
We out of here.
Love you.
Look, if you want me to shout out your Instagram name, hit me up on Instagram at I_am_SHERRIE. Follow us on Twitter. Hit me up on there. It's KICKIN_IT1. Shout out to everybody who was listening. Thank you. Shout out to our winner last week that won the Subway $10 gift card. I have not forgotten about you. I'm sending it out this week. Again, thank you to our supporters. Thank you for everybody who's listening. Hey, listen, keep your head up. It's not always as bad as it seems. There's always greater good. I promise you. Self-esteem of your own. Listen, go find Cat Williams on YouTube. And look, he says self-esteem is about yourself. Okay?
Get the edited version, please.
Please get the edited version. No, but honestly, thank you. God bless you all. I hope to hear from you. Follow us. That's all I can say. I love you all, and to all a good night. Good afternoon. Shout out to all our supporters and listeners. Check out the hottest show on the network at worshipcenterradio.net or download the TuneIn app and look for the Worship Center Radio station. Follow us on Twitter at KICKIN_IT1 and on Instagram at I_am_SHERRIE.